the fraud, risk, and payments industry for approximately 8 years, from her time at PayPal to exploring the fun world of crypto startups to swimming through the waves of innovation. These days, she's flexing fraud-fighting muscles as part of fraud and risk team over the MoonPay as the head of fin crime or financial crime. And the title of her presentation is Navigating Scams, Social Engineering and Friendly Fraud, Strategies for Merchant Protection and Customer Trust.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? All good? Cool. So the reason why I don't look like on this photo, because I went to Dva Jelena yesterday, and the ones who are from Belgrade, you know what it is. So yeah, first of all, thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm super excited for this conference because it's actually in Belgrade. This is my first one in Belgrade. Usually I do a lot of conferences like in October. I did already 3. This is the 4th one, so I've been traveling literally entire month. I'm looking forward to December to lay down a little bit, to be honest. But yeah, let's kick off this week. So as you mentioned, so my topic today is going to be talking about navigating scams, friendly fraud, social engineering, and just all the issues that crypto kind of brings to the guys that are not that educated about blockchain technology and just overall crypto world. So before we start, I'm just going to give like a little introduction about what I do, who I am, and what is MoonPay. So some of you actually heard about MoonPay, and for those who never heard about MoonPay, MoonPay is crypto on-ramp and off-ramp exchange. We more represent ourselves today as a Web3 infrastructure company, meaning that we run end-to-end solution for any of your ideas you might have and you want to implement them to blockchain, NFTs, and etc. So before we start, we have something today for you. Usually we don't do this, but we're kind of expanding the market a little bit. So we're trying to, get the Balkan people to join crypto world as well. So, please scan this QR code, and you need to send 0.5 Ethereum, and immediately you'll get 1 Ethereum back to your wallets. You're gonna have only 2 minutes to do this. Did anyone proceeded with this? Good, because I'm just kidding. No one's gonna ever give you free money for nothing. So this is usually what our customers actually believe in. They really believe that they're going to get something for nothing. And when it sounds too good to be true, it's never true, right? So if you don't trust me, maybe you're gonna trust Lady Gaga, or you're gonna help Russian-Ukrainian war with some donations there. As you can see, like Lady Gaga reached out to this guy with even a part of the song there, ha ha ha, right? But I hope he didn't believe. So now, jokes aside, this is the agenda that we're going to be covering today. Some of the things I might skip, depending on the audience. Some of the things I might focus a little bit more on. And the main point for me is to leave the number 7 the most of the time, so we can kind of like dig in some discussions if anyone has any questions. So I guess most of you here are already familiar with what is actually a scam, what is social engineering, what is friendly fraud. But this slide kind of gives you very simple, straightforward definitions, what actually each one of these means. Scams, of course, as I described, the first slide, the trick that I gave you was actually a scam. So basically, they're trying to trick people into losing money for their own business purposes. So scams these days became more like a business model, right? Just there's no registration part for that on authority level, but it is a business model, and everyone can do it. Also, social engineering as well. I'm sure that everyone here in the room at least once, received a message from a friend or a family member or a colleague, hey, I got scammed, I sent this guy $1,000, I don't know what to do. And you're like, just be desperate, that's all you can do now, nothing else, right? So friendly fraud, there's a lot of customers as well that found a business model in this, meaning that because of the nature of crypto, that it's irreversible, there is no refunds, which is clear for everyone, I guess, in this room. If not, I just gave that information. Basically, what they're doing, they're going into the bank after purchasing crypto on any of the crypto-related websites, and they just say, hey, I never got it, right? I never received my crypto. Even though on the blockchain, as you all know, it's super transparent that you can see that crypto was actually delivered, right? So there's a trace on the blockchain that says delivered, and most of these guys, actually, what they do, they send that crypto straight forward to the third party, meaning that we can even see that it was spent. But because the banks are still getting there in terms of knowledge, crypto knowledge, blockchain knowledge, thinking about maybe I can open up the blockchain and see was that actually delivered to this customer, which they're not doing right now, but we are working on that. We need to work together on that. They can basically get their money back, meaning that customer purchased the crypto, they got the crypto, they go to the bank, they didn't get it, they get the money, win-win, right, for them. So what we're doing at MoonPay to actually prevent scams, we are trying to approach our scammers slash sometimes even customers, right, because they're actually scamming us as a business model, by basically trying to treat their behavior as a fraudster. So a couple of these points here basically that I listed are giving a clear picture of how to actually unmask the online scammer. So, of course, they're very good at convincing you. Recently, a couple of months ago, I was dealing with one, unfortunately, elderly woman. She was around 65, based in Croatia. For a year and a half, she was thinking that she's married, right? So imagine now, like each one of you being thinking that you're married for a year and a half, right? And living that idea of I'm married and celebrating that over the social medias and thinking that you have a husband in Ukraine and being super excited about it. And plus you sent him 50K already, right? 50K euros. And then you cross paths with myself and I tell you, this guy is lying to you after a year and a half, right? And you're 65, emotionally completely unstable, very wacky, The only question she had for me is like, can I send him just one more transaction so I can see maybe I can actually trust him? So that's got, in terms of like convincing the actual victim that, she's not getting scammed, it's a big challenge. After we, couple of months, monitored the activity and I was trying to like do almost like a therapy with her, what we came across with, that she wanted to give me her apartment because she has no kids. So she was like, you just saved me to be completely broke. Here's my apartment. I was like, I'm not going to take your apartment, dear. Like, you have no money now. You're broke already. So maybe sell your apartment and get a smaller house so you can have some money to live. But this is just one of the thousands of stories that we deal every day, right? And it's sad because it kind of brings a little bit of empathy of me. That's why I kind of decided to join the... I used to hack when I was younger. I used to play with CMD on XPay, basically PCs, switch off my neighbors' computers via the IP address, send the error message and stuff. And it was all fun, right? Until we got a report from the police to my mom. But anyway, I decided to switch this world because, it's kind of like something that you can actually hack for good, I guess. So to go back to some of the other points that we are saying, as I said, too good to be true, avoiding legal documentation. They really want to avoid any request for that, or they're like chasing for money. They're literally like giving you these short period of, so, hey, if you don't do this like in a minute, as I did at the start, if you don't do it in 2 minutes, you're not going to be able to classify for this, great opportunity that we are giving you. They're usually using technology to hide, which is one of the challenges that we are facing as well. But, there's some things that I'm going to present later that we can do to actually prevent those. So common scams that are targeting merchants generally, but also in the crypto world. One I already kind of mentioned, which would be the Roman scam. Investment scams are the biggest portion of it. Why? Because crypto, it is kind of seen a lot as a financial opportunity to earn some money, right? And we all know that. And probably most of us, when we heard about crypto in general, we heard about Bitcoin, and we heard about Ethereum, we heard about probable, investments that we can get as a trading return later on, blah, 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 right? But no one really started talking about the technology first, right? The global audience really talked about Bitcoin and Ethereum, mainly Bitcoin. Chargeback abuse, I already mentioned, so this is the case of a friendly fraud, where basically customer go to the bank, even they got the crypto, they say they didn't get it, and they file a chargeback, and they get the money back as well from the bank, issuing bank. Fake customer reviews, that's pretty straightforward one, phishing emails, online payment frauds, giveaway scams, like the one that I mentioned, fake cryptocurrency exchanges, beware of those. There's thousands of fake ones now. We have vendors that are screening constantly for the fake exchanges. Luckily, we can stop some of those, but they're literally creating a new website every day, a new wallet address. So, every single time when you try to purchase on their website, they give you a new wallet address to send the crypto to, which is, again, the main challenge that we're going to talk about crypto analytics later on in the panel. So join that one as well. So, as I said, this is from FTC, basically, report. It's clear, right? This is from US, but imagine like the amount of money that actually gets just like burned nowhere. And we don't even know where it's sitting right now, which is the scary part for me. Strategies that we are using, first, we are doing like trainings all the time. Literally once a month, we run a training. We collect the patterns of the scams. When we get a chargebacks, we are trying to collect, because every time when you get a chargeback, you get that bank file handwritten from the analyst in the bank, where basically it's saying, oh, customer did not receive a purchase, or customer thought that he's going to receive a Chihuahua for 0.03 Bitcoin. I mean, that type of scam, like customers are actually thinking they're getting a dog for a crypto, like a physical good. So we're dealing with all of that, and we're trying to take the amount, trying to take the country, the region, the time period, and create basically the patterns that we can use to stop scams. Security awareness, of course, team needs to be aware, about how to treat with their laptops, just general stuff. PCI DSS, Mumbai just basically got the PCI DSS officially a couple of days ago. MFA, most of you are familiar with that. Friendly fraud mitigation, strong security measures, and evidence. When I say evidence, this is to basically spread the culture around your teams that they do understand how important it is to understand how to see where the crypto was delivered. If they don't understand that, they're not going to be able to defend your company for these purposes. So they need to be, I would say, educated on that side. Chargeback prevention, make sure that you have clear terms of use. Why? And refund policies, meaning no refund, it's crypto. If you don't get your customer to sign that part, that's it, you're eating all the liability. So all financial losses, it's on you, it's on merchant, right? We get our customers to sign their terms and conditions twice. Once at the sign up and once at the actual purchase. So that's two different things, like two different customer journey parts. Why we do that? Well, we want to make sure that customer is actually seeing that twice, right, first of all, and that he's accepting that twice, so we can use that later on, not against them, but to actually show the issuing bank that he actually, did accept the terms. So if he didn't read it, we presented them twice. Customer communication and fast response. This is related to your customer support teams. If you have a customer that is reaching out to you, right, today, after having to purchase whatever crypto asset, and they realized after 2 minutes that they're actually getting scammed, right? Or it's fraudulent transaction. If they reach out to you, a lot of them would, and if you don't reply to them literally in a fast period of time, that transaction is going to get completed, right? And then later on what happens, you could have actually prevented that. So try to run either a detection and a chatbot for keywords, pull those into your queues faster, prioritize them. There is a lot of things that we can do. If someone is interested, we can connect after the session. Dispute resolution, we have a chargeback team in-house. So you heard a lot about these chargeback vendors like Chargeback 911, chargeback gurus, and there's plenty of them, but they can be pretty pricey, as we all know. Usually they take around 35 to 45% success-based fee. Now think about the company maybe has 2021, we had around $14 million of chargeback, so you calculate how much money would that be if our win rate is 99%. So the win rate, super hard for the crypto industry. Proactive measures, I already kind of mentioned some, but basically we implemented trusted and secure payment processing solutions. So when I say this, you need to work from end to end. How you onboard your clients, so what traffic you actually get in is the traffic you're actually sending out. So types of merchants that you're onboarding, especially on a lot of gaming and gambling companies, I can see here as well, licenses, what licenses they have, is it fake, is it illegal gambling? A lot of stuff related to we don't tend to check chargeback and fraud ratio when we onboard clients, but we actually could have checked that before we onboarded them to our ecosystem. So transaction monitoring tools that detect suspicious activity. A lot of companies are now trying to make a complete split between compliance, anti-money laundering, terrorist financing, onboarding, AML screening, / fraud and payment risk department. But actually, it's all one, one in-house, I would say, prevention tool that needs to be aligned. So customer verification, of course, that's part of the onboarding, so your KYC, meaning that you target specific cohorts. If you already know, right, you need to be data-driven. If you have a data statistics that shows that 60-plus cohort is usually getting scammed, well, here is your answer, who to target, right? So, okay, maybe you would not collect liveness check for, I don't know, 30 age, but if you know that these are getting scammed and liveness might help and stop them, then run the liveness for them. Again, a lot of these discussions always lead into customer friction, false positives, conversion rates, but there needs to be some cost of business. And at the end of the day, you don't want to end up in Visa or fraud monitoring programs or MasterCard fraud monitoring programs because these are not the best ones to deal with. Fraud screening, so we have internal machine learning model, and we also have some third parties that we rent out, let's say. You need to make sure that you understand that there is no fraud solution that is actually going to solve all of your problems. That's what merchants tend to do. Hey, this is the guy that I'm going to pay. Here is the contract. We got a great pricing. Their team seems amazing. We integrate them, and that's it. Well, no, not. Why? Because if you don't tell them what they actually need to do, and if you don't lead them into your problem in a way that you give them the data, you send them the right fields, they're not going to be able to help you. And then you're going to do probably like 6 months period of time testing them. You're going to switch to another one because you think that this didn't solve your problem. Well, no, you just didn't collaborate them correctly. Biometrics, basically biometrics, we realized that a lot of these like copy-paste rules and how fast you move around the checkout page can help for real true fraud. So also for targeting specific cohorts, because fair play to ones who are really, educated in their 60 plus, 70 plus, amazing. But generally the data shows that, these maybe cohorts would be a little bit slower, right? So these are the things you can also use. Wallet screening vendors for crypto world, TRM analysis, plenty of them right now. Engage with them because they have a big network, so basically they are able to say if wallet is already related to a scam or a fraudulent case, report it to any authorities, so that also helps. Scam warnings, reason to purchase questionnaire. Sometimes it's good to get the customer to tip themselves off. And when I say that is obviously when they're on a crypto website or a crypto checkout purchasing crypto, you know what they're purchasing. They're purchasing crypto, right? But they might think that they're purchasing something that is coming from Facebook, like Microsoft license, right? So if you basically make them to tip themselves off, what is your reason to purchase, and they tell you it's a Microsoft license, you already know that they're getting scammed. So it's kind of, another way to being able to detect scam. This is what we have on our website. It's how to spot and avoid crypto scams. It's just a simple article, basically, that you can all visit if you go on moompay.com. Basically, it gives like a lot of different signals on both transactional level and kind of like social engineering level, how to detect that you might be getting scammed. This is what I recommend to everyone to have on their website and also to include that in your purchase journey. So first one I already covered. Active customer outreach. What we did as an experiment, we even put some transactions on hold. So we actually then rang the customer and tried to talk to them to see what they're actually trying to do. And the good few times we actually stopped the customer from being scammed. They were super thankful. It was a great customer experience because they actually told us, oh, there's this guy that reached out to me over Telegram or Signal, and it sounds like a great opportunity, and MoonPay is so simple to use. Now, again, if you have a great product that it's simple, fast, secure, and you're publicly very available, which is basically your brand goal that you are, spread all around the world, you become more attractive to scammers. So you can see some of the biggest players like, Bitcoin.com and all of them basically dealing with a similar thing. Why? Because they're very, very there. They're just very publicly available. Dedicated scam prevention efforts, trust and safety. Like every day, you need to make sure that you have that in your mind. So you need to spread that culture cross-collaborationally in a way to every department. Why? Because if compliance is something that might be, kind of reasonable to escalate to a fraud department, they need to know how to detect, the pattern data to actually send that to your department. And it kind of goes, all the ways. If fraud team sees something that it's related to AML issues, also, they need to know when to escalate to the relevant department. Building customer trust, of course, that's all related to our articles, customer education, reaching out to customers, doing the scam warnings and stuff, and constantly performing fraud screening, run manual reviews. I know we're at the Data and AI conference and we're trying to automate as much as we can, and I'm +1 to that, like super supportive there. But there needs to be a couple of set of eyes that are teaching the model correctly, right? That are providing the insight there to actually say, okay, this makes sense, but this transaction actually looks more to me as a first-party fraud or a friendly fraud, so let's label that transaction and then send it back to the model so the model can actually teach from that. And also just for like false positives and other things that basically, we are still not fully there to completely like cut down the manual reviews. Failing to prevent scams, I kind of mentioned a couple of these, but there are more than these, but I kind of try to summarize them. Loss of customer trust basically brings you to financial loss. So they're all connected. Financial losses bring you to the legal issues. Fraud and dispute monitoring programs, again, bring you to chargeback increase and the financial losses because you need to pay the fines to Visa. Visa has a fraud monitoring program, basically, that usually if you run in the program for 12 months, if they like you and if they see you're a business, they'll collaborate, but if basically, it does not really make sense, they'll give you an official warning and you might be able to, you might in a position that they cut you off, which is the thing that you never want to face. Bad customer reviews, unhappy customers, of course, that kind of, ruins the company reputation and just brings the overall culture spirit down as well. If team sees that, it's not really going well, the performance is not going to be the best. Some of the challenges that I already mentioned, so I'm not going to go into all of these details, but I would focus on employee training here and enhance customer education efforts. Again, try to find the right balance between the conversion rates, not affecting the actually good customers, because it's a hard thing to find a difference between a legit customer and customer that's getting scammed. Why? Because they all look the same. So they all go through KYC, they all go through all security measures, their IP address and billing address is fully matched, they run the MFA, they provide their passports, they look exactly the legit, like acquirers even, process their transactions, they did a 3D secure, but they're getting scammed. There's no way you can detect they're getting scammed until they actually tell you. So you need to work on how they tell you and how you spot that there might be scam, and you ask them. So use feedback to get better. This is a very good one. What I realized recently as well, that a lot of insight is basically coming to different departments, mainly customer support. Customer support gets plenty of these tickets with a very, very valuable insight that it's not really used. Why? In a big companies, with a big operational groups, teams, what often happens is that they work with Zendesk, they work with other CRMs, and they just run the ticket reply very quickly to kind of crush their targets, right? So they would get a ticket, and it would be, hey, I got scammed, or whatever. They would just basically reply straight away, go to the bank, and not even, take that input and maybe see, okay, maybe this is the website that we can take down, or we can do something without it, So to actually fight scams, you need to go from very low funnel points of your business to go from onboarding to the ML screening to the sales teams to security to how you actually set up your business model end to end in terms of integrational part. It's kind of really cross collaborational effort. And yeah, share some scam prevention wins. Have a channel which inside your company where you're going to share some case studies, because that's also going to create that company awareness that this is an actual issue. I was 3 weeks ago, I was in Lisbon on the Global Anti-Scam Alliance Summit. And it was funny because the main point was crypto and scams. And I was the only person that actually supports blockchain industry and crypto in the room, and there was around like 70 people hating crypto. So I stood there, and they were all looking at me like, "Oh, this is a scammer, go out." So it was pretty challenging to present in front of these guys. There was a FBI guy, actually, one of the main unit directors for US. And I spoke to him after, and he told me, the numbers that I showed you there, like 575 million in investment fraud for coming from scams. He told me that he was impressed with the approach that we are giving right now. But we still need to break that, limit and a border between issuing banks, regulatory authorities, and the merchant. 24% of participants in the scam report that is coming from Global Anti-Scam Alliance, by the way, believe that reporting a scam would not make a difference. So we need to change this. Because if people think that, oh, I got scammed, and by the way, I tried to call Croatian police just to test it out to see what they're going to tell me, and they were like, oh, but we cannot really do anything about it. But yeah, but take the insight, take the information, try to do something about it, like engage with third parties, do whatever, because you're the ones that it's being called, right? So what I'm asking from, I guess, all of you in the room would be collaboration, try to connect with each other, see what we can do, how we can share these wallet addresses that are used to be scammed, how we can, have a database that is, shared with all of us here. And that's basically collective defense. Also, if anyone is interested about Global Anti-Scam Alliance, reach out to me as well. I can get you as a member, get you these webinars, accesses, conferences. I think, it's valuable. It was valuable for me. So I'm not sure how much time we have, but if we do, I will take any questions. Good. Yeah, that's the one there.
I was wondering what percentage of your costs or perhaps your employees are actually dedicated towards compliance, scam prevention, fraud prevention, etc.
100%.
Just all.
Because that's what just I said. Yeah.
All of your.
So
staff.
literally, every single employee at MoonPay is aware of the customer trust and safety, meaning that every single employee can send an escalation ticket to the fraud department to immediately take whatever needs to be taken down. So we do have dedicated, fraud and scam and trust and safety teams and chargeback teams that are led by me, but we spread across collaboration, right? So when you think about kind of job responsibilities for the guys, even on the development side and the data analytics side, they are all aware of that.
Thank you. A very brief follow-up would just be, in traditional banks, it's about 40% of the staff are compliance related. I just wondered if you could say, in crypto, it's more. I mean, it sounds like everybody has to be involved. But
I would definitely say that in crypto is more. Yeah, so I would say that 60-70%, yeah, would be fully dead on. Yeah, maybe the sales guys and stuff, they would serve as an escalations and stuff, but we have a lot of developers that are actually working right now as we speak on plenty of initiatives that are related to fraud. So, and we have dedicated development teams for that as well, which is usually not the case. They work on project-based stuff on banks and stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. Oh, is this working? Yeah, it is. Okay, great presentation, thank you. I loved it and very informational. I have two questions, if I may. One is, MoonPay is on and offboarding, right? So it seems to me like this is not really different from other banking services in the non-crypto space. Why do they have the same problems? I mean, I understand that scams are a different beast when you have only crypto, but you have KYC, you have everything. So why is this so much more susceptible to scams than when you open a bank account or do some transactions there? You have everything, you have the same information as the banks do, don't you?
Yeah, so yes and no. These are kind of two questions. So first side of your question would be crypto these days in last, I would say, especially in last 5 years, the scam, it's increased so much. Why? Because market is now, let's make a great opportunity for people to invest, and then in a couple of months they're going to see trading return, whatever. Banks are seeing the similar thing, but the thing is that banks are, like, their risk to crypto is so low. They don't even take, like, I cannot even purchase with my OTP bank, which is, I think you have that in Serbia as well, right? OTP. So I cannot even purchase on any of the crypto exchanges. So they're lowering their risk. But the crypto as a merchant is dealing with only these types of scams, right? So really, it is directed more to the merchant. And why? Also, merchant is the liability. Merchant is basically liable for these cases, meaning that if customer goes to the bank and files a chargeback, they send it to us, right? We need to defend it with all the evidence that I mentioned, and then if you win, you win. If you don't, you lose, but you eat. It's your liability, especially if it's like APM, alternative payment methods like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, whatever. There's no liability shift with Visa, right? Now some regions are changing, so that's good, but you lose them. So they don't even like tend to ask you if you want to defend. They just no. So I think the scam issue is more specific now to the crypto industry. I mean, scams were around for, I mean, since we were born, all of us really, there are scams. Like in real life, someone can scam you from, hey, I'll meet you at 10, you come at 10:30. Well, you're lying. To basically to the point of PayPal, where there was a lot of scams with eBay as well. But, you know, crypto is raising that investment type of scams.
Can I have a second question?
Yeah.
It would be, I hope it's not too off topic. If it is so, just ignore it. But you were talking about scams, but do you also have problems with other types of financial crime, like people trying to like launder money off, like using MoonPay as an off-ramp for like illegal funds and these kinds of things?
Yeah, luckily those are very, I would say, preventative, because we have a very big tech stack on that side. So we don't have only one, for example, wallet screening. We have like 2+. We don't have one vendor that runs the money laundering rules. We have plus. We have some internal stuff as well. We have many reviews for the team. So to answer your question in terms of like, do we have the same problem? It's a less of a problem than, yeah.
No time. Thank you for the great presentation.
Oh, there is one more question if we have time.
Thank you for the presentation. I have a short question. Do you have in your organization some kind of models? Usually those are machine learning models that are capturing some irregular behavior and saying that it's a fraud or no?
Yeah, so we do, as I mentioned, we have an internal machine learning model that runs on performance and score. And we also have rented third-party vendor that helps us on a fraud screening. Not only one, again, we have multiple. We have an integration with one of the third-party vendors that kind of like can connect us with multiple fraud vendors. So yeah.
Sorry, yeah,
you can connect me after.
Yeah, you can do it like over the coffee. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.